On Overdrive today, we find out which scooter is the best buy in the market today, and we go through the new offerings Volkswagen India has for driving enthusiasts. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I am Soini Dutt. The latest 110cc scooter, Hero Xoom, takes on the likes of the established scooters in the segment, the updated Honda Activa and the TVS Jupiter. Which one should you put your money on? Chris has the answers.
When it comes to urban city runabouts, nothing beats having the convenience of a scooter at your fingertips and at your disposal. And although electric scooters are all the rage and a current hot topic in today's world, well, IC scooters, in particular 110cc scooters, still have a special place in our market and in our hearts because, yes, a lot of people still rely on them to go about their daily business. And Hero Motorcorp has just last month introduced this new 110cc scooter. This is the Xoom. This is the top-end variant that we're going to be testing out today. And how does it fare against the established competition? Well, scooters that have been around for more than a couple of years. If you go to see, the one to my left, immediate left, is the TVS Jupiter. This is the Smart X Connect, and we also have the Honda 8 Smart Activa 110cc. So how does this new scooter fare in competition against some very established competition out here on the market? Well, stick around to find out.
In terms of its design, the Hero Xoom is undoubtedly the most radical 110cc scooter in India today. There are cuts, creases and contours all over this thing. It's hard to miss the H-shaped DRL up front with its LED headlamp. The diamond cut alloy wheels, that funky tail lamp mimicking the design from the front, all very sleek and modern. It's definitely going to appeal to your youthful side. In contrast, you tend to miss the Honda and the TVS if they went past you out on the road and if you weren't paying close attention, because they pretty much exude the basic shape and design of scooters that we've grown accustomed to over the course of time, save for some catchy color schemes. Now, TVS has tried to keep things fresh with the Jupiter Smart Connect with dual-tone paint jobs, some shiny bits and even a tiny backrest for the pillion rider. Honda has done pretty much more or less the same and has even thrown on some new alloy wheels and keyless ignition tech to its fan favourite of for almost 20 years, the Activa. Storage space is a key factor for any scooter. It's pretty much one of the reasons you'd want one in the first place. And all three of the scooters out here have enough storage space to put away a proper half-face helmet under the respective seats. But the Activa is the only one of the three that doesn't have a storage area behind the front apron. Now, this is no deal killer, but it's definitely a feature that Honda could have thrown on there for good measure. The Activa 8 Smart is also the only one of the three that features a smaller 10-inch rear wheel in comparison to the 12 inches at the back of the other two. And it also doesn't get a disc brake up front, not even as an optional extra. That's because Honda only offers front disc brake variants on its 125cc scooters and above, out here in India at least. Now, the biggest downside to the Hero's design is that the cubby holes on the apron, well, they eat away at legroom and parcel storage space. Also, I'm not too convinced by that oddly located USB charging socket either. Convenience is the name of the game with any scooter, and its features that it comprises are going to make or break them. Even though the three scooters out here are the latest units to hit the Indian streets, the display units of all three ICE scooters are still nowhere close to the fancy touchscreen and TFT color displays that we've seen on some of their electric equivalents. But that doesn't mean they lack other modern features. The Honda still gets the old school analog display that reads out speed, odometer and level of fuel. And although I quite like it because it's like the machine's way of mechanically conveying that data to you, not all will fancy the simplicity of this sort of display in the modern era. The Xoom and Jupiter both get fully digital instrumentation screens with Bluetooth connectivity and turn-by-turn navigation features. The Xoom also gets a handy real-time mileage indicator, which is always a pleasure to see on the go, while the Jupiter goes one step above the ordinary with its voice command system that lets you access certain functions like navigation and call logs. Although, how important the features that last bit on a scooter of this sort is debatable.
Now, the Honda Activa 110 has been around for more than 20 years, but this model has been upgraded. This is the top-end Honda Activa 110cc H Smart. So basically, it has been on the receiving end of some new tech in the form of keyless ignition. And yes, this new key where you don't really require the key, you don't have to slot it into an ignition anymore. You just have to press a button to unlock it, or you can find your bike in a parking lot by pressing another button. And of course, the USPs of this bike have to be, well, first and foremost, the 12-inch wheel up front, and it's an alloy wheel to begin with, because previously all the older Activas, well, they only had steel wheels. And this model in particular, from these three scooters, is the only scooter to have a 12-inch front and a 10-inch rear wheel.
The Xoom's USP has to be its cornering lights, which light up the road when you tilt the scooter into a corner. Yes, it's the first scooter of this displacement category to get this feature, but honestly, it isn't very helpful in poorly lit scenarios, because first of all, you're not going to be carrying that much momentum on the scooter into a corner to really see or need to see all that much. And secondly, well, the headlight works pretty well, and you don't really need that part of the road illuminated as it does. What's more useful though is the company's I3S tech that turns the scooter off when you come to a halt for more than a couple of seconds. Don't fancy that too much? Well, the system can be turned off completely by flipping a switch on the handlebar. The Jupiter likewise gets the same IntelliGo integrated start-stop tech, while the Honda misses out on this tech completely.
Now, moving on to the TVS Jupiter Smart Connect. Well, as its name suggests, this scooter incorporates, well, TVS's Smart Connect display and voice activation feature. So this scooter, well, unlike the others, you have the option of activating your turn-by-turn navigation, and you can also use the voice activation where you can command the scooter to search for directions and display it up on your screen via the app, via connecting it to your phone. Also, this scooter comes with pillion backrest as part of the top-end variant package, the Smart Connect package, in addition to the external fuel filler lid, which can be accessed like the under-seat storage via the key through the ignition slot.
The TVS app also gives you access to a lot more data and information on your scooter compared to the others, and is a whole lot easier to get used to as well.
Of course, features and design is a very integral part of that buying decision, but all of that could change in a jiffy if the scooter is not comfortable to ride in the city and sometimes on the highways, right? More on that after this very short break.